Hey everybody, I'm Ben Higgins.
Hey, I'm Serena Pitt.
Hey, this is Blake Moynes.
Hey guys, I'm Brendan Scanzano.
Hi, this is Alana Milne.
Hey, I'm Lindsay Hamilton.
And you're watching The Bros Ceremony.
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 And you're watching Bros Ceremony.
And you're watching The Bros Ceremony.
This is The Bros Ceremony.
Your journey's about to begin.
Recapping the week that was in Bachelor Nation and previewing what's to come in the next episode with some special betting odds.
Everyone can't wait to find out what happens next week.
Here are your hosts, Michael the Hound Dog Harrison and Adam Scully.
Will you accept this rose?
Will you accept this rose?
Will you accept this rose?
I'm Mack Truck Mike, and I'm going to run you off the road. Hello and welcome inside the Bros Ceremony, episode 39. I'm Adam Scully alongside Michael the Hound Dog Harrison. And Michael, we have to tell our viewers the truth, and we have to do a take two of our intro here. Almost had to do a take three there. I'm a bit of a stumble bus going so far today, but that's fine. Clearly, my day is not going well. More importantly, how is your day going thus far?
It's not more importantly, Adam. It's the equal. It is of equal importance for both of us to have spectacular days going. You know, Adam, the day's been fine. I had a nice little nap the last couple of hours after waking up early in the morning to write for sportsbettingdime.com. Nice little plug there for my golf picks. It would have been an even better morning had I met my golf picks been right. The last 2 weeks, I had 3 of the first 5 winners. And then the last 2 weeks, the guys I picked finished 4th and 2nd. So close, but not close enough, unfortunately. But yeah, had a little nap for a couple hours. So, you know, anytime you can have a nap during the day, it's a pretty great day, Adam.
I think we should have some sort of segment on napping because I'm not a good napper. If any of our viewing audience wants to give us napping tips, napping advice, please tweet us at Bros Ceremony or Hound Dog Harrison, Adam_Scully, Instagram, the works. Please let us know how you like to nap. But Michael, as always, a jam-packed episode here on the Bros Ceremony. We'll preview episode 4 of The Bachelorette, which gets underway in just a couple of hours later tonight. And of course, we'll look back at Bachelor in Paradise, Canada, where we left off last week. Past guest on this show, Brendan Scanzano. Future guest on the show, most certainly, Brendan Scanzano. The spotlight was all about him. And Ileana looked like Adam, the other Adam, of course, had taken her away from Brendan. And that's where this episode began, where they were sort of talking with each other. And clearly, Michael, the conversation was not great.
Yeah, obviously they really underscored that Adam was good at making out. They said several different times, a little bit short on the old conversation, but I think it sort of seemed a little bit predictable that Ileana would stick with Brendan. At least that's from my perspective anyway. Adam coming on the show to sort of mess things up, and they always like to test people to make sure that they actually are a solid couple or whatever, and then they, you know, it oftentimes ends up being totally fine. So I was obviously happy to see that. And the boys in the show were happy to see Brendan, obviously, with that grin when they knew, obviously, it meant that it didn't go so well for Adam with Ileana there. So I was very stoked to see him, Ileana, stick with Brendan on that one.
Yeah, and you know, I'll get to the grin there that you're referencing shortly. But one of the things Ileana asked Adam was, "Do you celebrate your birthday every year?" I mean, is that like, do people not celebrate their birthday? Is that just a weird thing? Like Adam responded, "I don't know." Like what? Well,
that's a good question. Fair question that she asked, I think, because I think as we get older in life, unfortunately, sadly, I have many more years on this planet Earth than you, or maybe not so sadly. I'm not so sure, but I have many more years on this earth. I think as the years go on, it's sort of like a thing where it's like, I don't know. It's not as big of a deal anymore. It'd be kind of fun to do a birthday party where you go back to your roots as a young kid or whatever, like maybe jump in the ball pit or whatever and have pizza party, all that stuff. That'd be kind of fun, actually. Now that I'm talking it out, and now that my birthday is like a month from now, perhaps that has to happen. But I would say, you don't really tend to celebrate as much as you do as a youngster. But to answer the question for me, I almost like it more like a small gathering of friends as opposed to this big, huge birthday bash with a number of different people. Just like have a few people that you really like there. So what I'm trying to say is, Adam, you didn't make the cut.
Right. Well, and what you're also trying to say is that you have a lot of friends. You have thousands and thousands of friends that go to every one of your birthdays. And I think turning back the clock, I'm just going to have a road hockey tournament for my birthday. I did that once or twice or probably 4 times as a child. And where my dad, Rick, who is an avid fan of the Bachelor series, not really, he would steal the show at said birthday party. So I think we'll have to do that maybe for big birthday number 31 for me.
Yes. Well, Adam, I've always wanted to play road hockey with you. I haven't played road hockey in years, and I would love to snipe top cheddar on you just to demoralize you, knowing this schlub like me, good word, can score on you every single time. It'd be so easy, I'm sure. And yeah, I want to play hockey against you, Adam. And then, but not on ice, because I used to be known as No Skates Harrison. Didn't have any skates. If I did have them, I wasn't the greatest on them, so I was No Skates Harrison. That was my moniker back in the day. So let's just do a little road hockey for that one.
I think it's a great point, but you mentioned hockey there and road hockey, and Adam and Ileana had some sort of ice hockey, as it were, on the last episode, where they basically put a sheet of ice in the middle of like a basketball court, which is beyond bizarre. But you spoke about Brendan's reaction when Ileana and Brendan had that conversation, and Brendan went to go talk to the guys, and he just couldn't stop smiling. It was the funniest thing, knowing him now, knowing that grin when things are going well just in his life. I just started dying laughing when I saw that laugh. But good for him, and good for Ileana making the right choice to pick Brendan.
By the way, I'd like to go back to this earlier. You were talking about your intro to this episode, and I forgot to mention off the top there. I love that you said this is a jam-packed episode of the bro ceremony. That's always funny when people say stuff like that, right? Because it's like, what are you going to say? Oh, this is like a really, really thin episode. We have no content at all. There's no point in watching the show. This is going to be garbage. Why are you even watching? Would you normally typically say that, do you think?
I probably wouldn't. Just imagine, you know what? We're here. It's going to be a bad show. We got nothing to talk about. Why are you even watching? Hit click, go to the next link here. But yeah, jam-packed. It's always jam-packed because Bachelor Nation doesn't sleep now. I mean, it's 2 episodes a week. You've got to have your PVR ready. You've got to have your Apple TV ready. But hey, I mean, it's good. Better to be busy than not busy, as it were, for Bachelor Nation. By the way, and this is kind of going sort of off topic, but not really. Last week, Greg, I watched the episode with Brendan, and it looked like this time around, this past Sunday, that a lot of the cast was watching it together at Kevin's place, including Blake Moynes, of course, not on this cast, but a focal member of Bachelor Nation, who was just on the last season with the Bachelorette with Katie, and of course, no longer together. But Michael, how jealous were you? You were not at that.
I was just stunned that you weren't there, Adam. As we've established the last episode, I work on Sundays, so it doesn't really, if it was something where I was able to make it, but then I couldn't be there, that would obviously be super, super rattling to me. But the fact that I normally couldn't be there anyway, it didn't really bother me. I was just not, why is Adam not part of this? Adam, I thought, was part of the Bachelorette gang now. No, I thought you were part of Bachelor Nation.
Were you hoping, or were you anticipating maybe seeing an early Instagram story of them together? You're just thinking, okay, Scully's going to be there in an hour, right? He's just going to show up. Is that where you were thinking, or were you just, what was your thought process?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, as we've established, you are Brendan Scanzano's best friend, obviously. So how does he not have his best friend there? It really shook me to my core, to be honest with you, Adam. And I need some answers on that one. I'm very, very just rattled by the fact that you weren't there, because I'm sure you were absolutely rattled.
I mean, I wouldn't say I was rattled, but someone who definitely was rattled, the other Adam, and he was more rattled with what was going on in the show. Now, he was there on Sunday evening watching this. I believe I saw him on the Instagram story. So really curious what the dynamic was with Brendan and Adam sort of mano-a-mano watching a public breakup together, which would be so weird to see. But so Adam sort of decides to, he got dumped basically, and he needed to, jump ship. He wanted to spread his love. And that's where he had a little conversation with Caitlin. And things started to get a little spicy.
Well, what is interesting to me is obviously Camille, who's the last few episodes especially been all over the episodes, very marking his territory, stay in your lane, all this sort of stuff. Seems like very, very, whoa, I was pretty excited there. Apparently.
Was that a hiccup, or was that like a cough?
It wasn't a hiccup. It was, to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever done that in the history of my 35 years on this earth. And we'll get to ages by the way here a little bit about this episode.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever done that in my life. So I was like, whoa, what is that all about? But it's interesting to me because obviously Camille was upset about the fact that all of a sudden now Caitlin here is Adam going for Caitlin. Camille and Chris seem to be buddies now, and they were hating each other earlier in the season. So because of Caitlin. So that dynamic to me is very, very interesting that they seem to be boys now all of a sudden.
And it's funny you mentioned that because actually it's really not funny at all. But what I'm trying to say isn't funny. What you said actually wasn't also funny, but it's just whatever the expression is. Yeah, I sort of messed it up. But I watched some of the after show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I did. It was just on. I didn't change the channel. And they had this conversation with Kevin and Chelsea, who was on Bachelor in Paradise, the model. And they talked about the two hosts. I can't think of their names right now, but the two hosts were talking about that same dynamic, how Camille and Chris didn't get along. But Kevin sort of chimed in and said, they're only on a beach for a short amount of time, but things happen quickly in Paradise. You spend so much time together that you're either really going to get along or you're really not. And for these guys, obviously, I believe they're staying together in the same cabin too. So cabin fever, perhaps. Maybe that was some insider information. Mm-hmm. But it's good to see a little bromance happen for a little bit.
Yeah, certainly, obviously, very, very stunning. Obviously, it certainly seems like at this point, Chris had to decide, okay, obviously, it's not going to work out here with Caitlin. So then there was no, sort of rivalry with Camille anymore. But as you were saying, yes, Camille, there is a rivalry with Adam. He was not too pleased that he did all that. And the line that he said that really stuck out to me, which I thought was funny, was Camille saying, "You're a rooster, I'm a gorilla. You're a rooster, I'm a gorilla." Did you hear that line? And what would you say in that scenario? Which animal would you be, Adam?
You know what? I wasn't. I would say. I'd be the gorilla, and that was on my short list of intro lines to say off the top. Maybe if I had said that, I wouldn't have butchered my opening remarks. But that was certainly an eye opener. Is that the best way to put it?
I like to throw you for a loop, Adam. I like to ask questions that get you off kilter and make you really pontificate, good word, and ruminate, another good word, about life, Adam. And I like to ask you the hard-hitting questions, and I'm about to ask you another hard-hitting question, courtesy. And I forgot to mention this. I wanted to mention it last episode. Shameful that I didn't. Our friend Lisa was making it with Josh last episode, which was great to see her find love on the beach there. Mm-hmm. And I'm so dismayed that I forgot to mention that last bro ceremony. Her question to Josh, which they both agreed on: Hawaiian pizza, yay or nay? Ooh, that's a big time nay for you.
Not even a little bit. No, wow. No.
Keep
talking. Tell how I feel about this topic.
This feels like a fiery hot take. Keep going with that. I want to see fire emerge from your head there, Adam.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I'm going to start throwing some shade right now, and since I'm doing that, we're going to go to our sponsored segment here, presented by Kits Eye Care. Throwing shade. Get your first pair of glasses free from Kits Eye Care. Pineapple tastes like soap. How does soap and pizza, how does that go together? It's brutal, I tell you.
Well, I don't know what's a hotter take, saying pineapple isn't good on pizza or that pineapple tastes like soap.
Yes.
Like, you mean in general, pineapple tastes like soap? How often have you tasted soap?
My taste buds, it tastes like soap.
How often have you tasted soap in your life, Adam? That's the next question.
It's been a couple of years for sure. Definitely. I wouldn't say I go around and munch on soap every Thursday night, but
did your parents ever, like, as a way to discipline you, like, well, they always say, "Oh, wash your mouth out with soap." Did they ever do that or something? Like, I feel like we need to get deeper into this discussion here.
I don't think we'll have to have them on because I know, like I mentioned, they both watch The Bachelor. And actually, you know what? Funny tangent. I watched about 10 minutes of Bachelor in Paradise Canada with my parents on Sunday evening. They almost disowned me. We've had discussions with them in the past. They really hate it. They're not fully invested. I think they're approaching it from the perspective of, like, this is already awful. They haven't opened their minds. They haven't gotten themselves vulnerable enough yet. Their walls aren't down fully.
And I really truly believe that if they actually were to give it an actual chance, they would, they would realize, oh my gosh, they'd open their lives to something brilliant, which is the Bachelor franchise. To answer the question, by the way, a pineapple on pizza, I'm not going out of my way to get it, but I don't mind it at all. And in fact, pineapple has never tasted like soap to me. That's a really, really, truly bizarre take to hear that one. I've never heard that one before, but that's new. Like I said, I'm not against it. I'm not exactly for it. I know that's not exactly a hot take, but if someone were to order one, totally fine with me. But then again, you're also the same clown who doesn't like mushrooms on pizza. And it's amazing to me the how mushrooms are such a polarizing, not only on pizza, but just in general, how mushrooms are a polarizing food. Obviously, I love them, so I can't quite get that one.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm also someone who likes green olives on pizza.
Ugh. Yeah,
I think it's a great little addition. Well, that's some
terrible.
flavor.
It's absolutely awful. That's the trash. That's your trash opinion right there. You're just making a multitude of trash opinions here on this podcast, Adam. And as the kids would say, I'm here for it or something like that.
Well, I mean, trash opinions weren't made in the rose ceremony on Bachelor in Paradise Canada, where decisions had to be made, really forcing this one. Decisions had to be made about who was going to stay and who was going to go. Now, through the first couple, a number of people, I should say, at the rose ceremony, it was obvious. Ileana was going with Brendan, and Mike and Stacy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then it came down, like you said, to Lisa. And that's where there were a lot of, available suitors who were looking for that friendship rose. And David gave Lisa a rose initially because, for forgiveness, that sort of thing, to stick around to hopefully find her chance for love. Lisa goes with Josh. Poor David, poor Chris. Their time on the beach. Chris was saying he's a totally different person after being on the beach for 8-9 days. Good for him, I guess.
Chris is, as we've said, like that's my boy. I love him this season. I thought he was just an outstanding character. I still wish in some perhaps alternate universe, maybe not alternate, that Chris and Lisa would get together, just because they're the best two. They're the most entertaining in terms of, in their pursuit to find love. I've loved them. Their love stories in the show. I was disappointed to see Chris go. Not in any way surprised. Like, I know the show wanted to make it dramatic and seem like it's a possibility. There was really no choice other than Josh for Lisa, because obviously the point is to find love. And the fact that she had built a connection with him, there really was not even a remote closely chance to the other three guys. Like you said, David, Jeremy, and Chris. There's no chance that she was giving them her rose. I wouldn't have thought on that one. Yeah,
and the other rose sort of up for grabs to a degree was Caitlyn's, and Caitlyn ended up choosing Camille. Adam goes bye-bye. So Adam's stint on Paradise was not great, but you know what? Let's see where he goes going forward. But then the episode took a different turn. Bianca arrived on the dock. And Michael, I don't know about you. Did they mention her age? I don't remember hearing her age 27 times. Do you remember hearing it?
You should have said, you should have said 37 times there instead of 27, Adam. That was your opportunity, and you let it slip through your fingers on that one. Oh boy. Yes. They mentioned that she was. Oh, Adam. Oh, Adam. You're just consistently disappointing the viewers of this Bro Ceremony podcast time and time again. But yes, they did mention her that she was 37 years old, and that the way they made it sound, I understand they want it to be entertaining or something. I don't know what the exact real angle is with that, but I guess they were trying to make it seem like she was 91 years old by saying that she was 37. That was so old that she was an ancient artifact. And that got me thinking, my goodness, Adam, we were talking about my birthday here, which is in less than basically a month from now. I'm going to be 36. So am I a fossil? Am I just, should I be sent out to pasture? I'm just done. My life's over because I'm going to be 36 years old. 37. Spoiler alert. Not that old, man.
You know what? As one of your best friends, I totally agree. You're nowhere near that midlife crisis. You have so much life to live, so much love to give as your journey turns to year number 36. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, so
Oh, I was just going to say, Adam, but speaking of them showing my age, perhaps the 36 years old, this was a tremendously thought out segue I just thought of right now. We were and speaking of our boy Brendan Scanzano, my best friend, not your best friend. Sorry, I've changed on that one. He was texting me earlier today. I'm hopeful to get on a potentially a reality show here coming up. That'd be absolutely amazing. It's my lifelong dream to be on a show. And he gave me the email of a producer. Obviously, I'm not gonna say the producer's email. That'd be hilarious if I did. I'm not gonna do that. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because perhaps showing my age, he wrote I thought it was maybe a typo. I thought he was trying to say pod, like P-O-D, but he wrote E-O-D, and I was like, what in the living hell does E-O-D mean? Because he was talking about, again, I have no idea. I'm like, I thought for sure it was a typo, but I was showing my age. Tell the viewers, maybe they don't know. Would you guys know? I have no idea. But EOD, what does that mean, Adam?
EOD is end of day.
I had never in my entire life heard of EO or seen that or anything like that. I'd never heard that one at all. So I was flummoxed on that one big time. I had no idea what he was trying to say.
Did you ever think of maybe Googling it?
Well, of course. Yes. Thank you, Adam. Yes, I want a meta crawler and ask Jeeves to Google it. It didn't exactly pop up with anything because, again, I'll Google it right now. When you try to Google it, it basically comes up, did you mean that type of thing, right, Adam? So, Adam, you actually, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Actually,
yeah. Right. As I was saying, right there. But
I guess I was, again, we already established I was having a nap. So I got the text mid-nap. I was just sort of like, discombobulated. I'm just a factor.
Good word there.
Fantastic words today. And I was, discombobulated. I asked him, he didn't get back to me. He's probably thinking, obviously everyone knows what that one is. And I think I mentioned this before. Do you know what OTT means? I thought this was an extremely obvious one. I'd heard it. It's in tons of TV shows, but a lot of people I talked to are like, I have no idea what OTT means. And I'm like, what?
There's like outfit of the day, but that's a different one altogether.
Yeah, sure. Do you think I would be saying OTT outfit of the day? No, it's definitely.
With that blazer on, absolutely you would. Look at you. You're a specimen.
Wow. Well, thank you, Adam. I appreciate you and I appreciate that. Pretty good, eh? Not so bad. OTT means over the top. Someone you're saying someone's OTT, they're over the top.
I've never heard that before.
So it just doesn't make any sense. But can we just abolish maybe these short forms anyway? Is that fine?
I think we should.
LOL and BRB. Other than those two, can we just agree we're going to get rid of all of them and can just type it out, man? Do we really need to be that late? Especially when someone's like so lazy, it only means like one extra letter to actually type out the word. I can't think of it a good example right now. I'm sure people can think of them, but yeah, it's one or two extra letters just to type out the actual word. But they still have to do the abbreviations or the acronyms. It's like, oh my God, it's too much, Adam. They've gone way OTT with that.
I can't wait to sign off on this podcast and say TTYL.
Okay. I think that's a generally accepted, understood one. I'm pretty sure. That means tough toenails, you lemur. That's what it means, right?
Tough toenails, you lemur. Yes, that is what TTYL means. There's no way to segue from that, so I'm just going to jump into it. Nicole from Mississauga walked in, not 37 years old, I believe 25 or 26. I can't remember.
25, the youngest person on the beach, they said. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Okay, it's 25 years old. And then things took like kind of a random turn when Mike was interviewed, and he was basically just like, I don't know Caitlin at all. I want to get to know her, so I'm just going to ask her on a date. It was sort of like, I mean, from an entertainment standpoint, it was, yes, great. Let's ruffle some feathers here. Stacey wasn't so happy with this.
Well, you said when we're about the rose ceremony, you're like the obvious couples, Ileana and Brendan, Stacey and Mike. And I was thinking, well, at the time, of course, that was extremely obvious that would happen. And exactly. And that's why you're a professional, Adam, through and through. But yeah, very, very super, super random. I loved it. It just, I mean, poor Caitlin. As she was saying, it's just so stressful. She's in the middle of all the drama every episode, and it's of her, not even of her doing. It's like, my goodness, man. But yeah, she decided to reject Mike, and then I think Mike did his best he could to try to soften the blow with Stacey on that one. But I still understandably think in the back of her mind, Stacey's going to be like, will you do this again to me? Like, if you've done it to me once, shame on you. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That's the expression, something like that.
Mhm.
So I think in the back of her mind, she's thinking maybe he'll do it to me again, though.
Perhaps it was disingenuous of Mike to do this. When they played that disingenuous melt, as we call it in the sports world, or loop, I thought of you and I just started dying laughing.
Did you? Yeah, so did I. Did you know that was not a word, Adam?
Disingenuous? I did know that, actually. Shocking given my performance of hating pineapples and whatever the hell else I've messed up on this episode a lot.
I know you're a Rhodes Scholar. You are just the creme de la creme. But yeah, they did say that word, and I think it wasn't even just this episode. They've said disingenuous, but it's not just that. It's on these reality shows. There's tons of words that are missaid all the time. And speaking of that, there's another one that's always said is don't take it don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. It's don't take it personally. People do that one all the time as well. But yeah, the disingenuous, that's the word. But I love that. I love that Alex didn't basically do anything the entire episode, and then except for that little bit at the end there. That was great.
It's the same thing. I know we're super off topic here, but when people golf, yes, we play golf. We love playing golf. When people say, "Oh yeah, I hit it good. Yeah, I putted good today," it's like, no, you just read a dictionary. It's I putted well. I hit it well. Like.
Hey, I keep getting fired up. I like when you get fired up. There's some fire in your belly. I like that so much.
Well, thank you, and that's where the episode ended. Do you have any thoughts specifically on Bachelor in Paradise Canada? I think we've spent a good time covering it. I think, do we hit all the bullet points? If you had,
I think so, Adam, and this actually dovetails into of course, talking about the Bachelorette coming up here. I think it's possibly because I've talked to some people and they're saying they don't really love Bachelor in Paradise Canada. Like, it's pretty good. It's not super dramatic. I kind of like the fact it's a little more chill than the American Bachelor in Paradise, because that's just obviously they have so many bullet points they're trying to get through every episode, and it's so over the top dramatic. I kind of find it's more chill, and yeah, I find the Bachelor in Paradise Canada has been better than the Bachelorette, which we're going to get into now. It just hasn't been quite as good, so I think that's the reason we're talking about it more, because it's been better. There's been a lot more just things to discuss about it.
There's a lot of ways to respond to that, and I totally agree. I mean, like Bachelor in Paradise Canada, like there's not the same glitz and glamour and social media and people DMing each other and dating before coming on the beach and so much drama. Like, this is just, it just seems, because we're Canadian, like everyone's just nicer to each other. I totally agree. And obviously we do the show and we love all things Bachelor and Bachelorette, but do you think that people might just be like batched out? Like, there's just so much going on. I don't know, maybe.
That's a very, very good question and good point there, Adam. You like to ask the hard-hitting questions on this podcast. Well, yeah, because it used to be, I think it was every few months or maybe 2 months or so, there'd be a break of maybe 6 weeks or 8 weeks or something along those lines. It's almost like, as you mentioned, the golf season, there's a tournament every week. The NFL, the reason the NFL I think is so successful is because it's gone for so long. You miss it so much and you want it so badly. So yeah, the fact that it's just back to back, there's no end in sight, which means also there's no end in sight for this bro ceremony podcast. We're going to be here till we're 91 years old, or in your case, 37 years old, and an ancient artifact and basically done and sent it to pasture. We're never going to stop doing these. I think it's not even going to be possible because there's episodes every single week.
Now, you mentioned, missing something or not seeing something for a long time. That's how I felt about you when we were initially locked down in quarantine, and back in March, April 2020. That's just how I thought about you.
That's just so lovely, Adam. And, you're so nice. And on that note, I'm going to have to get some more water and also perhaps some shade because I'm going to have to throw some shade toward you. So I'll be right back. Bye. Okay.
So Michael's taking a quick little break here. And now we're going to segue to preview tonight's episode 4 of The Bachelorette. We'll get into the Jamie drama because there was a lot of it. There was a Top Gun group date last week. We saw more of Clayton, and Clayton, for those who don't know, for those potentially not wanting to know,
whoa. Don't even, I throw you some shade on there. Just you saying that. Sorry, it'd be important to have a microphone on, wouldn't it? Just you saying that, Adam, it almost implies something that you might not want, the viewers might not want to know. So just stop you right there, Adam, on that one.
You know what? I was trying to say something that would really get you riled up, that you'd have to sprint back and maybe like break your computer off. Or at one point,
it pretty much did.
When we had Katie Caldwell, Bachelor Insider, on our show months ago, your light broke or fell over. I was kind of hoping we'd see some shenanigans live on our show, but I guess
no. Okay, no, I apologize. Well, no, I don't apologize, Adam, because I honestly, truly think you're about to say something that was going to get you in hot water, because you would have perhaps said something that you would regret for the rest of your life.
Probably, actually. And on that note, all I will say is that there were some people on The Bachelorette who we didn't really see much of the first 3 weeks. Clayton was one of those people, and Clayton was shown spinning Michelle around. And because, you know, that there was this Top Gun group date where they're doing like the loop-de-loop thing, which looked, the G-Force simulator is what it's called. I have that actually written down. How would you do doing that? I would be in a world of hurt.
I used to hate for amusement parks. I would love to do the bumper cars. The tilt-a-whirl was fine for me. The pirate ship was kind of cool. Like the most lamest of roller coasters. I think it was called the Thunder Run at Canada's Wonderland. By the way, it's always funny. People call it Canada's Wonderland. They never actually just say Wonderland. Yes, we're in Canada. Obviously, that's what it is. I digress. But yeah, give me like lame rides, fine. But any of the ones where you're like flipping around like that or whatever, I remember I've been on some of them. I just close my eyes and just hope my life is still going a few minutes later, and just I wouldn't be able to do it at all. Especially not be able to tell Michelle how much I loved her if that was going on.
I think we should do a bro ceremony episode with you on a roller coaster for the entire time. I think that would just be, that would not go well and if I was on that, the episode would be 4 seconds long.
Yeah, no, thank you on that one. I can't imagine that being fun. And so, yeah, the fact that they were kind of freaked out about that, I completely related to them on that one for sure.
Yeah, and you know, elsewhere, talking about last week's episode of The Bachelorette, more drama involving Peter and Will, where Peter decided to throw Will's jacket into the pool. Like, what? Like, did a producer tell him this? Like, I just don't understand how he thought that was the right thing to do at the time. What were your thoughts when you saw that transpire?
Just, as I said, it almost epitomizes. Oh my God, I'm on fire. This season a little bit in terms of it's just like, that's it. Like that just felt so lame. It was just like, that's your big move. Whoa, tough guy there throwing a jacket into the pool. It was just, because I know that was one of the things they showed in the preview for the season, making it seem like to be this massive deal, as they always, of course, do. And it was like, that's it? Really? That's your move? So Peter, obviously, he got his comeuppance at the end of the episode, which was disappointing because despite the fact that obviously he certainly seems like not the most pleasant guy going, Michelle continues to do the right thing, unfortunately for her, the wrong thing for TV and getting rid of all these interesting guys right away.
And, you know, speaking of interesting guys, in episode 2 of The Bachelorette, Jamie had that one-on-one date where, talk about a good segue there, was talking about, you know, like his life story. You know, obviously he has been through a lot and getting on the show. And he was the one who outed Michelle, I guess you could say, about, you know, not being there for the right reasons. And then Jamie told the producer, and this is what, you know, really caught social media or put social media into a tizzy, saying that Michelle is going on spring break mode. Maybe not your finest decision there, Jameson.
It's just bizarre. I mean, we've talked about different people in the past. Like, are they actors? Possibly. It almost feels like Jamie might have been one. Maybe it's just bizarre things. I remember that first episode. If we had to pick people to potentially win after that first episode, I absolutely would have had Jamie right at the top of the list. He seemed like he was going to go very, very far, and she was going to, you know, be all about him and love him. But it's just bizarre. Like, yeah, he eventually he gets called out. He has no response to it at all. Obviously, he's then caught in a lie, basically, and then she just gets rid of him, and it's like, all right, whatever. It just doesn't. He just feel like an actor to me or something. He didn't seem to be in any way, shape, or form upset about it. And it's just bizarre to me.
Yeah, and I mean how it all transpired, how Michelle told our boy Rick about how Jamie blew the cover, and then things just, you know, went down the toilet essentially for Jamie. Michelle doesn't trust him, sends Jamie home. So out goes Jamie. But, closer to home here, speaking of our boys, Chris G from Halifax, sticking around. So we have a Canadian still in the mix here. Let's go, Chris. And hey, if Chris eventually does get eliminated, hopefully he doesn't. But if he does, we will do our best to get him on the show.
Yeah, and his accent is absolutely stellar. Absolutely, definitely love that as well. But yeah, I feel like it's just the season so far anyway. It's been most of the time anyway. It's been other guys who haven't been very good, who are like wrote production notes, or Jamie who or Pizzeria Peter. And there's not a whole lot, as you mentioned, a development of like actual suitors for her. I guess obviously the ones would be like Nate, Rick, and Rodney. Obviously, was certainly one. Was on the one-on-one date there. What was the line that she said that? When she gave him the rose, will you? I wrote down. Will you? I would absolutely accept this rose, or something along those lines. Really, really cheesy, which I thought was kind of funny, but. Yeah, the season so far has just been about the guys who are already gone, basically, and we don't even know half the cast.
Yeah, it just seemed. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's because, obviously we were a little biased here with Bachelor Paradise Canada, how it's been great so far, in our opinions anyway. I don't know. I'm sure it'll spice up as it always does, because we're always looking forward to the most dramatic season ever of The Bachelor, The Bachelorette. And who knows, maybe the drama will come up. Speaking of drama, we had a lot of drama between each other in this episode. Are we good? Are we good here, or should we maybe take a break?
I want to keep that to the eye of the beholder, and I don't want to let you know. So I want you to be stewing. I want you to be questioning yourself. I want you to be vulnerable in the next episode for our milestone 40th episode. I don't want it to be with the same vigor and conviction. We can come back and we just argue the entire time. The one thing I will say, however, about this season of The Bachelorette that I do like is the fact that there's rose ceremonies at the end of every episode. That I do like, because for the longest time we've been, or at least I've been complaining, but they have willy-nilly when they decide to have rose ceremonies and when they don't, and they're all over the place, which is actually what's been happening on Bachelor in Paradise Canada. There's only been 2 rose ceremonies in like 5 episodes.
Yeah.
So I do like the fact that the Bachelorette, at least so far, has had 3 episodes and 3 rose ceremonies at the end. Back to basics, which is what I like.
It seems like, Michael, I was about to ask you final thought. That seemed like your final thought. So you just told me your final thought without me asking. Good play.
It's almost as if, we've done 39 episodes, or milestone 39th episode of this podcast, Adam, and I couldn't be happier about it.
Well, it's hard to believe. Next week, episode 40, the Patrick Lalime edition of the Bros Ceremony will be next week. Thank you to all of our new followers, new subscribers, Bachelor Nation. It's big. It's great to see so many new people following us, liking our content, commenting, that sort of thing. And we're looking forward to bringing you many more as we continue to recap what goes on in Bachelor Paradise Canada, The Bachelorette, and everything else. Bachelor Nation, who knows? Maybe we'll see Michael on a reality show sometime soon. Maybe I'll get the invite to a Bachelor in Paradise viewing party with the entire cast, although if I wasn't actually one of the castmates, probably not. But as they say, Michael, only time will tell. For Michael the Hound Dog Harrison, I'm Adam Scully. Thanks so much for joining us right here on the Bros Ceremony.